Have you ever felt like your attention is constantly pulled in 100 directions at once? Notifications pinging, messages stacking up, endless tabs open on your computer, and yet nothing truly gets done. You might work for hours, yet at the end of the day, you feel exhausted and empty, like you've been running in place. What if I told you that there is a way to reclaim your focus, cut through the noise, and produce work that genuinely matters? That, in a world filled with distractions, the ability to focus deeply is one of the rarest and most valuable skills you can have. That is exactly what Cal Newport explores in his groundbreaking book, Deep Work: Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World. Cal Newport is a computer science professor at Georgetown University and a recognized expert in productivity, learning, and digital minimalism. He has spent years studying the habits of highly successful professionals, from writers to entrepreneurs, and his research consistently shows that those who cultivate the ability to focus deeply outperform their peers in almost every domain. In Deep Work, Newport presents both the theory and the practice of deep work, combining insights from research with actionable strategies that anyone can apply. At its core, deep work is about reclaiming the ability to concentrate in a world where distraction has become the default. Newport distinguishes between two types of work: deep work and shallow work. Deep work is cognitively demanding, focused, and performed in a state of distraction-free concentration. It pushes your abilities to their limits and produces high-value results. Examples include writing a novel, coding a complex software program, solving intricate mathematical problems, or designing a game-changing business strategy. Shallow work, on the other hand, is non-cognitively demanding, logistical, and often performed while distracted. This includes answering emails, attending meetings that add little value, or scrolling endlessly on social media. Shallow work may keep you busy, but it rarely moves the needle. Consider how many days end with exhaustion but little tangible achievement. This is the trap of shallow work. By contrast, deep work produces results that compound over time. A single hour of deeply focused work can outperform 5 hours of shallow, distracted activity. The ability to focus deeply, then, is not just a skill, it is a superpower in today's knowledge economy. Why does deep work matter so much today? In the modern world, the ability to produce high-quality work quickly and efficiently has become a rare commodity. Those who can concentrate, learn complex skills, and deliver valuable output will thrive. Those who cannot are left behind, overwhelmed by distractions and a flood of low-value tasks. Newport likens deep work to a rare currency. Its scarcity in the modern professional landscape makes it extremely valuable. A software developer who codes uninterrupted for 4 hours will outperform someone who spends 10 hours in constant email and Slack notifications. A writer who dedicates a morning to drafting a novel will produce more than someone dabbling in writing while constantly checking social media. Newport formalizes this insight with what he calls the deep work hypothesis. The ability to perform deep work is becoming increasingly rare. At the same time, it is becoming increasingly valuable in our economy. Therefore, the few who cultivate this skill will be the ones who thrive professionally and personally. In other words, deep work is your competitive advantage. It is not simply about working harder, it is about working smarter, with deliberate focus, in a world dominated by distractions. Let's explore what deep work truly looks like in practice. Deep work requires sustained attention and concentration. When you enter a state of deep work, your mind is fully engaged with the task at hand. Time seems to stretch. Challenges that once seemed daunting suddenly become manageable. To illustrate, consider the example of Carl Jung, the famous psychologist. Jung spent long periods alone in a tower near his home, completely isolated from daily distractions. During these focused retreats, he produced some of his most significant and enduring work. This is a classic example of deep work. a deliberate, structured, and distraction-free environment for intense cognitive activity. Contrast this with the modern workplace, where constant emails, meetings, and instant messaging fragment attention. Many professionals mistakenly equate busyness with productivity, but in reality, busyness often masks a lack of meaningful output. Deep work, by contrast, ensures that the time you spend working is not just busy, but productive and transformative. In deep work, Newport identifies several principles and strategies that make deep work possible. The first part of the book is focused on building the mindset necessary to embrace and value deep work. Newport explains that to succeed in the modern economy, one must develop the ability to concentrate deeply and resist the lure of shallow tasks. This requires both understanding the importance of focus and cultivating habits that support it. One of the key insights Newport offers is that deep work is rare precisely because it is difficult. Our brains are naturally drawn to distraction. Social media, smartphones, and endless streams of notifications condition us to seek constant stimulation. Resisting these distractions is not easy. It requires training, discipline, and a conscious effort to create environments that foster concentration. Newport also emphasizes the role of meaningful work in motivating focus. When tasks are intrinsically valuable or challenging, the mind is naturally more inclined to concentrate. For instance, a scientist working on a breakthrough experiment is more likely to enter a state of deep work than someone performing repetitive, low-value data entry. Identifying work that is both important and challenging is therefore a critical step toward embracing deep work. To help readers cultivate deep work, Newport introduces several rules and philosophies. One approach is the monastic philosophy, which involves eliminating distractions entirely. This could mean a complete retreat from digital communication or isolating oneself in a quiet environment to focus on high-value work. While extreme, this method has been employed by writers, researchers, and creators throughout history to achieve extraordinary results. Another approach is the bimodal philosophy, which balances periods of deep work with periods of shallow work. This allows for both sustained focus and engagement with routine tasks. For example, a professional might dedicate mornings to uninterrupted deep work and afternoons to meetings and emails. This rhythm ensures that deep work receives protected time, while shallow tasks do not overwhelm the schedule. The rhythmic philosophy is perhaps the most accessible for most people. It involves establishing a daily habit of deep work, setting aside the same time each day to focus intensely. By making deep work a routine, it becomes easier to enter a state of concentration and maintain productivity consistently. Newport suggests that even 2 to 3 hours of daily deep work can yield significant results over time. The journalistic philosophy is another strategy, where deep work is scheduled into available blocks of time, similar to how journalists write whenever they can between assignments. This method requires flexibility and adaptability, but can be highly effective for individuals with unpredictable schedules. Part of embracing deep work is also learning to tolerate boredom. Our brains have been conditioned to seek constant stimulation, and many of us feel uncomfortable with quiet or idle moments. Newport encourages readers to practice concentration deliberately, allowing themselves to sit with boredom and resist the urge to check devices. This mental training strengthens focus and increases the brain's capacity for deep work. Finally, Newport highlights the importance of minimizing shallow work. Shallow work includes tasks that do not require intense focus but consume significant time, such as emails, minor administrative duties, or unnecessary meetings. By scheduling these tasks deliberately and limiting their duration, professionals can protect their deep work time and maximize output. The concept of a shutdown ritual is introduced to ensure that work does not spill into personal time, providing mental closure and reducing stress. At this stage, the reader begins to see the value of integrating deep work principles into daily life. Newport provides a blend of theory and practice, illustrating how deliberate focus, intentional work habits, and structured routines can lead to remarkable results. The first part of deep work lays the foundation for understanding why deep work matters, how to identify meaningful work, and how to cultivate the mindset necessary for sustained focus. Having understood why deep work is so important and the mindset required to embrace it, we now turn to the practical strategies that allow you to implement deep work in your daily life. Cal Newport presents 4 rules, each designed to help you cultivate focus, eliminate distractions, and maximize high-value output. These rules are not abstract theories, they are actionable methods that anyone can adopt to transform their professional and personal productivity. The first rule is to work deeply. This principle emphasizes creating structured routines and rituals that encourage intense concentration. Newport identifies several philosophies for structuring deep work, each with its own advantages and use cases. The monastic philosophy involves removing distractions entirely. Imagine a writer or researcher retreating to a quiet cabin for weeks or months, isolating themselves from emails, social media, and interruptions. This approach, though extreme, ensures uninterrupted focus and has been historically used by individuals who produced remarkable work. The advantage is obvious. Without distraction, deep work becomes natural. The challenge, however, lies in integrating such isolation into modern life, where responsibilities and communication are constant. The bimodal philosophy splits time between deep and shallow work. Professionals can dedicate certain days or hours entirely to deep work while reserving the remaining time for routine tasks. For instance, a researcher might spend Mondays and Tuesdays on intense writing, reserving afternoons for emails and meetings. This balance ensures that essential shallow work is completed without encroaching on the most cognitively demanding tasks. The rhythmic philosophy establishes deep work as a daily habit. By scheduling consistent time blocks each day, such as 3 hours every morning, the brain learns to enter a state of concentration automatically. The predictability reduces cognitive friction and enhances performance. Newport emphasizes that even small daily blocks, when performed consistently, can accumulate into extraordinary results over time. The journalistic philosophy requires fitting deep work wherever possible, similar to how journalists write under tight deadlines. While this method demands flexibility, it can be effective for individuals whose schedules are unpredictable. Success in this philosophy depends on disciplined planning and the ability to seize available opportunities for concentrated work. Implementing the first rule also involves creating rituals that signal to your brain that it is time for deep work. These rituals could include specific environments, timed work blocks, or even particular routines such as brewing a cup of tea before starting. Such cues condition your mind to enter a state of focus automatically. Over time, the rituals reduce procrastination and make sustained concentration more attainable. The second rule is to embrace boredom. In today's world, the brain has become addicted to constant stimulation. We reach for our phones at the slightest hint of idle time, endlessly scrolling for novelty and distraction. Newport argues that this habit undermines the brain's ability to focus. Training the mind to tolerate boredom is essential for building deep work capacity. One practical exercise is to schedule deliberate focus sessions where no external stimulation is allowed. Start with small intervals, such as 10 minutes, and gradually increase the duration. During these sessions, simply concentrate on a single task without interruption. The discomfort experienced during these moments is the brain learning to resist distraction. Over time, the capacity for sustained attention grows, making it easier to engage in longer periods of deep work without succumbing to digital temptations. The third rule is to quit social media or use it intentionally. Social media platforms are designed to capture attention, often offering little value in return for the time consumed. Newport encourages a careful evaluation of each tool's benefits and costs. Ask yourself, does this platform significantly advance my personal or professional goals? If not, consider eliminating it entirely. For example, a designer might find inspiration on Instagram, but endless TikTok scrolling could be a waste of time. Newport also introduces the law of tool selection, which suggests that technology should be employed only if it substantially improves work performance. By reducing time spent on low-value digital distractions, you protect your focus and energy for high-impact work. The fourth rule is to drain the shallows. Shallow work consists of tasks that are necessary but do not require deep concentration, such as responding to emails, attending routine meetings, or performing minor administrative duties. These tasks are not inherently bad, but if they dominate your schedule, they prevent deep work from occurring. Newport recommends scheduling shallow work deliberately and minimizing its duration. One effective method is batching similar tasks together and setting strict time limits for completion. Another strategy is implementing a daily or weekly review to identify unnecessary shallow activities that can be delegated or eliminated. The goal is to maximize the proportion of time dedicated to deep work while keeping shallow work manageable. A particularly valuable practice is the shutdown ritual. At the end of each workday, take a few minutes to review accomplishments. Plan tasks for the following day and mentally disengage from work. This practice not only enhances productivity, but also reduces stress, ensures clarity, and signals to your brain that the workday is complete. Over time, these rituals reinforce disciplined work habits, making deep work an integral part of your professional routine. To illustrate these rules in action, consider the example of a software developer named Sarah. Sarah adopted a rhythmic philosophy, dedicating 3 hours each morning to coding without interruption. She implemented a shutdown ritual to end her day and scheduled all shallow tasks in the afternoon. She also removed distracting apps from her phone and practiced deliberate focus exercises for 10 minutes daily. Within weeks, her productivity soared. She completed complex coding tasks faster, experienced less mental fatigue, and produced higher quality results. Sarah's example demonstrates how combining Newport's rules creates a powerful framework for achieving deep work consistently. Another example comes from the world of academia. A historian named James spent his mornings in isolated deep work sessions, conducting research and writing chapters for his book. By scheduling his deep work blocks strategically and minimizing shallow interruptions, he managed to produce significant portions of his book in months rather than years. His success underscores the principle that structured, intentional focus multiplies output and accelerates skill development. Implementing these rules requires commitment, experimentation, and adaptation to your unique circumstances. Not every philosophy will fit perfectly, and some rules may require gradual incorporation. Start small, dedicate a single hour each day to deep work, reduce shallow work gradually, and evaluate the impact of social media on your focus. Over time, these incremental changes compound into a profound improvement in productivity, learning, and overall work quality. Practical exercises to integrate these rules include creating a deep work calendar, identifying the most valuable tasks in your day, and reflecting weekly on progress. Challenge yourself to resist distractions, schedule deliberate breaks, and monitor the balance between shallow and deep work. By taking a systematic approach, you transform the abstract principles of deep work into concrete daily practices that enhance performance and fulfillment. By now you've learned the importance of deep work, the mindset needed to embrace it, and the 4 core rules for implementing it in your daily life. But the journey doesn't stop there. True mastery of deep work comes from long-term application, reflection, and continual refinement. Cal Newport emphasizes that while short-term focus bursts are useful, the real advantage comes from systematically integrating deep work into your life over weeks, months, and years. One advanced application is the concept of fixed schedule productivity. This strategy involves setting a strict end-of-work time, forcing you to prioritize tasks and focus intensely within a limited window. For example, a professional who works from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. might designate 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. as a deep work block, reserving the remaining hours for shallow work. By enforcing boundaries and creating urgency, this method encourages higher quality output in less time. Fixed schedule productivity transforms pressure into motivation, allowing you to produce your best work while maintaining a healthy work-life balance. Another advanced strategy is productive meditation. Newport describes productive meditation as the practice of engaging your mind with a problem or project while performing a physical activity that does not require much cognitive effort, such as walking or running. Instead of letting your thoughts wander, you focus entirely on solving a problem or brainstorming ideas. For instance, a writer might spend a morning jog thinking about the structure of a chapter. The combination of physical activity and focused mental engagement fosters creative solutions while maximizing efficiency. Newport also emphasizes the importance of tracking progress and reflecting on your work. Simply completing tasks is not enough. You must evaluate whether your deep work is producing meaningful results and contributing to long-term goals. One effective technique is the weekly review, where you assess accomplishments, identify obstacles, and plan adjustments for the upcoming week. Reflection ensures that deep work remains intentional rather than habitual, busy work, continuously refining your approach for maximum impact. Case studies illustrate the transformative power of deep work. Consider Bill Gates's famous Think Weeks, where he isolated himself in a cabin twice a year to read, reflect, and develop new ideas. These retreats produced breakthrough insights that shaped Microsoft's strategy. Similarly, authors, researchers, and creatives throughout history have used periods of intense, uninterrupted focus to achieve work that stands the test of time. The lesson is clear: structured, deliberate, deep work produces results that cannot be matched by shallow, distracted effort. Long-term integration of deep work also requires attention to energy management. Newport argues that cognitive stamina is finite and must be preserved for the most important tasks. This means scheduling deep work sessions when you are mentally fresh, often in the morning or after restorative breaks. It also involves maintaining physical health through proper sleep, nutrition, and exercise. By optimizing energy, you can sustain longer periods of focus and achieve higher quality work. Practical exercises for advanced application include time block planning, schedule deep work sessions in advance for the week, noting the task and desired outcome. Shallow task elimination, review tasks weekly, and remove any that do not significantly contribute to goals. Focus rituals, develop pre-work routines, such as clearing your desk, setting a timer, or meditating for 5 minutes before starting. Reflection journals, write brief notes after each deep work session, capturing insights, obstacles, and progress. Another powerful technique Newport recommends is embracing productive boredom outside of work sessions. This means allowing your mind to rest and resist constant stimulation during breaks. Instead of scrolling social media or checking emails, consider walking, observing your surroundings, or thinking through problems mentally. This practice trains the mind to focus better when deep work resumes and enhances creativity by giving your subconscious space to process ideas. Consider the story of a freelance designer named Maya. Maya struggled with deadlines and distractions, constantly multitasking between client requests, social media, and personal projects. She implemented Newport's rules, She designated mornings for deep design work, used time blocking for client communications, eliminated unnecessary apps, and practiced productive meditation during walks. Over months, Maya's productivity skyrocketed. She completed complex design projects faster, experienced less stress, and even found time to learn new skills. Maya's example demonstrates that deep work is not theoretical. It produces tangible, transformative results. A related concept is the craftsman mindset, which Newport advocates as essential for those pursuing deep work. This mindset emphasizes deliberate practice, continuous improvement, and valuing quality over quantity. Instead of aiming for busyness or superficial recognition, you focus on producing work that is both meaningful and excellent. For instance, a writer may spend hours refining a single paragraph rather than rushing through multiple pages, understanding that mastery comes from sustained, focused effort. Newport also explores the role of social accountability in supporting deep work. While deep work is often a solitary activity, discussing goals and progress with trusted colleagues or mentors can enhance commitment. Sharing progress, deadlines, and challenges encourages consistency and creates a sense of responsibility, making it less likely that distractions will derail your efforts. Another key reflection is the importance of measuring results over effort. Deep work is not simply about time spent in isolation, but about producing high-value output. Measuring outcomes rather than hours encourages efficiency, strategic focus, and continual improvement. For example, a researcher might measure success by published papers or breakthroughs rather than the number of hours spent in the lab. To truly integrate deep work into life, it's helpful to adopt a multi-layered approach. Daily routines that embed deep work sessions, weekly reflections to assess productivity and adjust strategies, monthly or quarterly retreats for focused creative work, ongoing evaluation of tools and technology to ensure they serve rather than distract. Finally, Newport stresses that deep work is not merely a professional tool, it also enhances personal fulfillment. Engaging deeply with meaningful work brings a sense of accomplishment, flow, and purpose. Unlike shallow reactive work that leaves you drained and unsatisfied, deep work is inherently rewarding, reinforcing motivation and long-term growth. Now that you understand the mindset, rules, and advanced strategies of deep work, it's time to explore how to embed these principles into your life for the long term, how to measure progress, and how to continuously improve your focus and productivity. Cal Newport emphasizes that deep work is not a one-time practice. It is a lifestyle choice that compounds over weeks, months, and years. Those who adopt it consistently gain a profound advantage in both professional and personal realms. One of the most powerful reflections Newport offers is the importance of intentionality. Too often, people drift through their workdays reacting to whatever is in front of them. Emails, notifications, meetings, without asking whether these activities truly matter. Deep work requires asking the question, which activities will produce the highest value outcomes? Once identified, these activities must be prioritized and protected from distraction. To make this actionable, Newport suggests keeping a deep work priority list. Every week, identify 2 or 3 high-value tasks that, if accomplished, would represent the most meaningful progress toward your goals. These are your anchors. By structuring your work around these priorities, you create clarity, reduce stress, and ensure that your efforts are impactful rather than scattered. A key technique for long-term focus is progressive time blocking. Start by scheduling small daily deep work sessions, then gradually increase their length as your concentration improves. For example, begin with 1-hour blocks, then move to 2 or 3 hours, eventually working toward half-day or full-day sessions if possible. The incremental approach builds mental stamina without overwhelming the brain, allowing sustained attention to become natural. Newport also highlights the role of deliberate practice in mastering deep work. Drawing inspiration from the concept of skill acquisition in athletics and music, deliberate practice involves working on tasks that stretch your abilities, continuously pushing boundaries and seeking constant improvement. A software developer, for instance, may focus not just on completing coding tasks, but on learning new algorithms, refactoring code for efficiency, or experimenting with advanced techniques. Deliberate practice ensures that deep work not only produces output, but also enhances skill and expertise. Another practical method is tracking focus and results. Newport emphasizes that measuring deep work is essential. This can be done through a combination of quantitative and qualitative methods, logging hours spent in deep work, noting tasks accomplished, and reflecting on the quality of output. Regular evaluation allows you to identify patterns, celebrate progress, and adjust strategies for greater effectiveness. Consider the example of Anna, a doctoral student. Anna faced distractions from social media, emails, and the constant pressure of multitasking. She implemented a rigorous deep work schedule, mornings dedicated to research, afternoons reserved for shallow tasks, weekly reflection journals, and monthly retreats to focus on writing without interruptions. By consistently applying these practices, Anna produced her dissertation faster than her peers, and the quality of her research was exceptional. Her experience demonstrates that structured, sustained deep work can dramatically improve both efficiency and outcomes. In addition to scheduling and prioritization, Newport stresses the importance of social accountability and community support. While deep work is often solitary, sharing goals and progress with mentors, colleagues, or accountability partners can enhance consistency. Knowing that someone else is aware of your objectives motivates you to maintain focus and uphold standards. This layer of accountability transforms deep work from a purely internal discipline into a structured, externally reinforced habit. Newport also addresses the challenge of digital distractions. Even if you understand the importance of deep work, modern technology can erode focus if not carefully managed. Strategies include turning off non-essential notifications, deleting or restricting distracting apps, using website blockers, and establishing clear rules for device usage. By creating an environment where focus is the default, you reduce mental friction and make deep work easier to achieve. Another advanced approach is the concept of deep work sprints. This involves working in highly focused bursts, often 60 to 100, and 20 minutes long, with strict boundaries on interruptions. Between sprints, short breaks are taken to rest and recharge. Over a day, multiple sprints can be combined for sustained productivity, similar to interval training in sports. This approach balances intense focus with recovery, maximizing cognitive performance without burnout. Long-term success with deep work also requires reflection on personal values and goals. Newport emphasizes that deep work should align with your larger life objectives, not just professional output. By integrating deep work with meaningful goals, you enhance both motivation and satisfaction. For example, an artist may dedicate deep work sessions to creating pieces that resonate with their vision, while a business professional focuses on projects that advance strategic objectives. When deep work aligns with purpose, it becomes not just a technique, but a fulfilling practice. Practical exercises for embedding deep work include weekly reflection journals. Review accomplishments, challenges, and areas for improvement. Monthly deep work retreats. Set aside extended periods to focus on critical projects without interruption. Digital detox days. Temporarily eliminate social media and other distractions to reset attention. Progressive skill challenges. Identify tasks that stretch your abilities and track improvement over time. Case studies further illustrate the impact of deep work. Consider Elon Musk, who manages multiple high-stakes projects simultaneously. Musk employs strict time blocking, focused sprints, and delegation of shallow tasks to maintain focus on the most critical activities. Similarly, authors, researchers, and innovators across industries have consistently demonstrated that structured deep work enables higher output, better quality, and faster learning. Newport also emphasizes the psychological benefits of deep work. Engaging fully with challenging tasks induces a state of flow, a mental state characterized by immersion, focus, and enjoyment. Flow is associated with higher creativity, better problem solving, and a deep sense of satisfaction. Unlike shallow work, which often leaves people fatigued and unfulfilled, deep work contributes to well-being and a sense of accomplishment. Finally, integrating deep work into life is about creating sustainable habits. Consistency, reflection, and adaptation are key. Daily routines should embed deep work sessions, weekly reviews should monitor progress, and periodic retreats should provide opportunities for intensive focus. Over time, these practices compound, producing extraordinary results and transforming both professional success and personal growth. In conclusion, Deep Work by Cal Newport is not just a guide to productivity, it is a manifesto for reclaiming focus in a world designed for distraction. By understanding the value of deep work, cultivating the mindset to embrace it, applying the core rules, integrating advanced strategies, and committing to long-term practice, anyone can achieve meaningful, high-quality output. Deep work is a superpower, a skill that produces extraordinary results, enhances learning, and creates a sense of fulfillment that shallow work can never provide. To begin applying these principles today, start small, identify one high-value task, schedule a dedicated deep work session, and eliminate distractions. Gradually build rituals, track your progress, and reflect on your outcomes. With consistent practice, the ability to work deeply will become second nature, transforming your professional and personal life in ways you never thought possible. If you found this summary helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with others who want to master focus and productivity. Comment below to let us know which book you want summarized next. Start practicing deep work today and experience the remarkable difference that focused, undistracted effort can make.